Hey, today I'm super excited to let you know we're starting a new 5-part mini-series titled The 5 Advisor Secrets That Matter Most Right Now. A lot has changed in the last 24 months. We're going to dive into the 5 things that will catapult your advisor group to the next level. Stay tuned.
This is The Rare Advisor, proud to be a part of the Advisor Advancement Network and home of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. Your host is Mike Walters, CEO of USA Financial. He is an investment advisor representative of and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, welcome to The Rare Advisor, and today we are starting a new mini-series, 5 Advisor Secrets That Matter Most Right Now. Taking into account all that's been going on, pandemics, lockdowns, working remote, having to deal with clients through Zoom rather than face-to-face, starting to see things loosen up and being able to get back in front of people at live events and face-to-face appointments. All of these things have been jostling around for the last 18 months to 2 years, and things are different than they've been before. The other thing I'll throw on top of that is when you are small, when you are first starting out, what you probably inherently know, whether you stop to think about it or now, is looking back, hindsight 2020, it is time that was your cheapest commodity. When you're small, when you're first launching, time is your cheapest commodity. However, that changes rapidly. And once you've reached a level of success, and once you're growing quickly, consistently, rapidly, building momentum, suddenly time becomes your most valuable resource. And you have to think differently about it. There's a space between where things that matter overlap with things that you can control. This is the place that you want to spend your time focusing on. There are all kinds of things that matter in this world, and in your life, and in your business, and in your practice, and in your personal life. And then there are all kinds of things that you can control. We have a lot that we can control, but we have even more that we cannot control. The key is living right here, spending your time and energy in the areas that overlap between what really, really matters and what you can, in fact, actually control. That's the purpose of life, right? Purpose of business life, I'd argue probably purpose of life overall, but we're talking about your financial practice. This is the purpose. This is what you do for clients. This is how you run your business. This is how you make decisions. This is where your focus needs to be. I need to take the overlap from all the most important things that truly matter in my business and then compare those against the things that I can in fact control. The spot where they interconnect, the spot where they overlap, that's where I will make my biggest impact. That's what I need to focus on coming out of a pandemic. Because right now, the things that matter most and the things that I can control, some of those things have changed, right? There used to be things we could control pre-pandemic. Today, we found we really can't control those things, or at least not right now. So I need to keep my focus on what matters and is controllable. That's where my time will be most well spent. Now, within that category, I can slice and dice that. You've heard me talk before about free, focus, and buffer. That's this concept that is taught by strategic coach, my good friend Dan Sullivan, who does a fabulous job with that. Sometimes I tweak with the words a little bit, but it's that concept, it's that structure that lives inside of this space. The overlapping of what really matters and what you can control, because now I want to focus on the things I can control that do in fact really matter. But within that, I probably still need to slice and dice a little bit, right? So I think of it as game time, prep time, free time, as we've discussed before, but also then I will also look at that in terms of almost like a damage control or a repair. So I have game time, prep time, repair, and then free time. That's how I categorize my things. I don't run my calendar disseminating between appointments and phone calls and Zoom calls and this and that. I don't have those kind of lists. What I have for lists are game lists, prep lists, repair lists, and free lists. the idea, from my perspective, how I do this, you can tweak it for yourself. This is Mike and his formula. My game time, think the NFL, right? I have a lot of things that I do that I have to do for prep that are important so that I'm successful in a game time moment. But it's those game time moments, that's what I truly get paid for. I don't get paid for the prep time. I get paid for the game time. But if I don't do proper prep time, my game time will suffer. So game time is when I'm truly driving revenue to the firm. I'm doing the things that are most important that fall into my category, my job description for what I'm supposed to do. Prep time, as you probably can imagine from what I just shared, is the focus on things that matter so that my game time can excel, or the game time of the rest of my team, or corporately our game time can excel. So reviewing financials, dealing with HR and benefit packages, motivating the team, doing all these other things that are super, super important, but aren't game time. Those are prep time. Some really important things happen on practice days in the NFL. Think of it that way. And then repair. That's probably a little interesting. You know, like I said, Dan Sullivan, strategic coach, he won't use that category. I use it because of the business we're in, because of the industry we're in, and it's so highly regulated. You have to carve off any repair time. You don't want a customer complaint to explode and become a regulatory problem. You don't want something that's going wrong, you know, digitally with a trade or moving money or transfers or anything like that. You're dealing with some highly important things. We're not building widgets here. So we're dealing with super important things when it touches people's money. So I carve off a separate piece of repair that's different than prep. Most people would probably put it in the prep category, but in the financial industry, let's carve it off and call it repair and give it its own special focus because it's that important. And then finally is my free category. That's the time for me, my family, spiritually, what it is that I feel like is important to me outside of the confines of USA Financial. These are things that oftentimes need to be put in first. These are the big rocks, right? Because if I don't book my vacation times, if I don't take time off to go see my kids in sports, if I don't go enjoy college graduation with my son and my daughter, if I don't talk to them as they're now off into their careers, whatever the case might be, if I don't make time for that, suddenly my business activities just fill that up. And that's especially true for you as an entrepreneur, as a financial advisor. If you don't block those things, suddenly you're working 70, 80 hours a week, and you've got this chain to the leg of your desk. That is not any good way to go through life. We spend a tremendous amount of time at USA Financial, especially with our protocol team, coaching and mentoring advisors on how to break loose, how to make more money in less time, working smarter, not harder. And a lot of it has to do with understanding this diagram. So there you have it. 5 advisor secrets that matter most right now. Number 1 secret is right here. Understanding that you can only control a certain percentage of the things that matter most, and that's where you need to focus.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.